Welcome back to the gun dungeon. Sitting there loading up some 44 Magnum. Again, revolver cartridges. As I've said earlier, it's wintertime. I'm shooting more revolvers because I don't like chasing brass and leaves on my range, and I'm too lazy to leaf blow it every time I shoot. So we're loading up some pretty warm little 240 grain XTP loads here. I'm actually going to use these in a video I'm about to go do. I'm going to be comparing some muzzle velocities and energies from a couple different length 44s and seeing how much barrel length actually affects 44 Magnum, which I think is going to be quite a bit. It's slow powder. These are using a little gun. But to the topic at hand for today, I want to talk about irresponsible gun ownership. And what I mean by that is people oftentimes get careless with firearms, whether it be somebody flashing around their carry gun, getting it out, flaunting it around. That's one type of irresponsible gun ownership. Another type of irresponsible gun ownership is leaving loaded firearms unattended, to where, you know, if you got teenagers, small kids, whatever, that can access them, that's a type of irresponsible gun ownership. And the third one is a bit more subjective, I guess we could say. And I want to talk about the machoism, just bad, given a bad representation of the gun community, whether it's somebody that's just too aggressive with their firearm, threatening it, stuff like that, open carrying, Mr. Bad Butt type people that just make other people feel uncomfortable. And we'll talk about that one first, actually, since we're already mentioning it. What do we want to do as a gun community when it comes to non-firearms type people? We want to make them feel comfortable. We want to make them, or let them know, that the gun community is not some big macho man, we're bloodthirsty, want to go out and have a gunfight every time we go to the gas station type of people. And by doing that, you're giving them every reason in the world to vote anti-gun and hurt the gun community. Now, I'm not saying go out and kiss some liberals' butt. I'm just saying don't give ammo to the side that wants to take us down. If you're one of the people doing that, and I see it in public, I will call you out on it, because you are hurting my rights. You are hurting my hobby. And, you know, rights are definitely more important than hobbies, but, you know, guns, ammo, that type of stuff, that's kind of my whole friggin' life. That's, besides my wife and family, this is what I do. This is it. Hunting, something to do with guns all the time. But, you know, you're doing a lot of damage by giving impressionable people who really have no understanding an impression like that. That is, it's a subjective version of irresponsible gun ownership, but I think it's a very important. So if you're not one of those people and you see those people, let's please all police our own. And this is going to apply to all three versions of irresponsible gun ownership. We need to police our own, because we are only as good as the public perceives us, and the media is not our friend. So we do not need to give ammunition to the media to use against us. And that brings me to the second topic of irresponsible gun ownership, and that's leaving loaded firearms around when you probably shouldn't. Now, does that mean If you leave a gun loaded on your nightstand all the time, or one in your closet loaded all the time, and you live alone, or you live with you and your wife, or you live with all adults in the house, that's irresponsible? Maybe not. Probably not. You have to know what your situation is and whether it's responsible or irresponsible to do so. You see how many times, like even the Sandy Hook shooting, I don't know exactly what happened leading up to that, but the media tells us that the shooter at Sandy Hook got his mom's loaded weapons and went and committed an atrocious crime. I know I read a story, it's been a good while now, but it's stuck in my mind for a long time, and it was a mother had left a loaded revolver in her purse and ran into the store and left her kids in the car. I forget the age of the kid. I want to say the kid was around 4 or 5 years old, little girl. Got in her mother's purse, accessed that gun. It might be special. Yep. Smith & Wesson Special 44. Get rid of that. But the kid had got in the purse, accessed the firearm, discharged it, and didn't live to tell about it. Now imagine, not only is it about the impression on the community and the media and such when things like that happen, imagine being that mother. Imagine being that father that left a gun out and your kid gets it. Imagine being that parent that leaves a gun out and your kid not only gets it and hurts themselves, but goes and hurts a bunch of other people, and then ultimately themselves. It's just, you got to think, guys. We've got to do better amongst ourselves. And if we see somebody doing something irresponsible, or somebody talking about doing something irresponsible, it's on us. It is our responsibility to police our own and make sure that we have responsible gun owners. We can't just walk off from that person and make fun of them or call them a dummy afterwards and go on, because you never know what can come from that. I'm about out of bullets here. Let me grab some more bullets real quick. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I should have been more prepared than that, but I wasn't. So you're gonna get another edited version of R&R here. It happens. But like I said, we've got to do good policing others when it comes to stuff like that. And you know, sometimes we need to step back and evaluate ourselves and make sure we're not that person. Make sure we're not being irresponsible. Nobody really wants to admit, yeah, I've been irresponsible with my firearms. But you know, sometimes people get complacent. Sometimes people do things we don't know is irresponsible or haven't thought about as being irresponsible. A little self-reflection goes a long way. So let's just make sure that before we're correcting others, that we're leading by good example. And I could say leading by good example would be a good way to segue into the first topic that I mentioned, which is essentially just carelessness. You know, if you're getting your carry gun out, slinging it around, doing stuff, showing off your gun, having a loaded gun, pointing it around, showing it off, you know, just carelessness stuff. And, you know, as much as I deal with guns, as much as I have my hands on firearms, I have to really consciously think a lot of times about what I'm doing, because I do get complacent. Like even sitting here loading, I would never suggest somebody be sitting here reloading and just jibber jabbering away, but I've done it so much that even while I'm talking, I'll catch stuff like a split case, or the feel and the press just don't feel right, and I'm, you know, it's just, I do it out of habit and out of just doing it so much. But when it comes to, you know, gun handling and stuff like that, I try to really, really pay attention, Because the more you know, the more you do it, the more you're around it, the more comfortable you get. And when you get comfortable, you get complacent. And that's when things can get hairy on you. So as an experienced gun handling, reloading shooter, I'm telling you, the more you get comfortable, the more complacent you can get. See, sitting here yapping, noticed it didn't look right. That's another 44 special in my 44 mag cases. But that's an example I was talking about. I feel pretty comfortable. I can sit and yap with you all because I subconsciously catch that stuff. But anyways, plus this press is really hard to get a double charge on, because once you come up, charge, and go back down, it rotates out of the way. So as long as you don't half stroke anywhere, you're never going to get a double charge. If you half stroke, you need to stop and think about what you're doing. You stop at the top or stop at the bottom. Either way, you'll never get a double charge with this press. But yeah, I mean, carelessness doesn't necessarily mean that you're intentionally being careless. It doesn't mean that you're, you know, some idiot that don't know what they're doing. It can come with just another special. It can come with just being comfortable. Because you're comfortable around something, you don't think through the processes as often. You know, being on the range, making sure, I'm on the range 3 or 4 times a week, and making sure that your muzzle always stays downrange. That's something you got to think about. You know, even on my private range, I do that because there are houses that way. My range goes this way, but there are houses that way and that way. But either way, I mean, like I said, when you get comfortable, it's when you can get complacent. And it's not just new shooters, it's not just newbies, it's not just the reckless ones, it's everybody. We've got to make sure that we are being responsible, because we don't need, first off, you don't need an accident in your life that's going to cause you any trouble, any kind of heartache, grief, legal issues, whatever. You don't need that. And the whole gun community doesn't need that story on the front page of the paper either. So it's not just about you, it's about protecting all of us. And that's how we need to look at this, is we are protecting ourselves as a human, as an individual, and we are protecting ourselves as a community. And that's how I see you guys. You guys are my family, you guys are my community, you guys are my people. It's the way it's always been for me. So just wanted to throw that out there for some food for thought. Hopefully I can get some of these 44s rolling through a chronograph, because I'm going to be making a video on them. Be sure to stick around for that. And until next time, guys, stay tuned.